welcome to this week's Help Me Rhonda show. All right, so today's guest, this woman is going to completely blow you away. She's like one of those bombshells that you never see coming because she is a thought leader in frequencies, and she's bridging the gap between science and spirituality, but bring it into modern day technology to help people create wealth. So, Taryn Lee, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rhonda.
So good to see you.
Yeah, awesome to be here.
Okay, so I'll just be honest, that was so many words that I'm not really even sure what I just said. So we're talking about, so first off we have to talk about thought leader and frequency. Then we have to talk about what does it mean to bridge the gap between science and spirituality, and then how does that even relate to modern day technology? So we've got like some big topics on the floor.
Okay.
So first let's talk about what does that mean to be a thought leader in frequencies?
I mean, frequencies is the language of the universe. Everything in this planet, us and every single thing that we could see, a computer, the carpet, the chair that we're sitting on, is made up of energy. And so there's a frequency to every single element of that. And that's why when you can say all these things like, you know, science and spirituality and business and all this sort of stuff, we're all just talking about this unique code. Yeah, this unique code underneath all of it, this like secrets of the universe, this language of the universe. If we can tap into that, we've tapped into something really special.
All right, so I'm just gonna keep playing the devil's advocate here. Some people are gonna go, that sounds super airy-fairy, right? Like, where does this really come from? Because, for instance, I think that this is something big for you, and you mentioned this to me, so I'm gonna say it first, is that I was in a ceremony on the 21st of December, which was the solstice.
Yep.
But it was also big conversions. And I know like the spirituality world went nuts, right? The astrology, spirituality, the medicine, they were like, wow. And I was in this really deep ceremony and there was so much energy happening. However, you shared with me something very different, what that was actually meaning, what was happening at that point, which I think leads into this conversation.
Yeah.
Right, so let's talk about this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that maybe they were going to transcend their body or something.
Totally.
They were going to go from the 3D to the 5D or something magical was going to happen. Now, something magical is happening.
Yeah.
It's just that it's happening over a longer period of time than people think. Yes, that was the crossover point in which we exited the age of a Pisces and we entered the age of Aquarius. And these ages happen for 2,600 years each, right? So it's not going to happen like that overnight.
Right. Well, we were just so happy we lived in it.
Yeah, I know, we did. Yeah.
So how does this relate to frequencies and what you're doing today? Because this age of Aquarius, there's a lot that goes on to what's going to happen in our future. Like we're predicting the future right now, right?
Yeah. Well, as we enter into the age of Aquarius, there's a few things that happen there. I mean, the age of Aquarius really is this bridge, right?
Okay.
It's a bridge between spirituality and science. And we can see now the link that's happening between those two. It's a link between technology and humanity. We're coming into much more an age of even more of an overload of information, if you like, and we're coming into this much more sort of feminine age, this feminine age of business as well.
Yeah.
So we've sort of exited this old paradigm, if you like, and moving into this new paradigm, this paradigm that, you know, has much more spirituality, but based in science, and much more feminine energy, but is like a really powerful feminine energy, nothing that's been suppressed like it was for the 2,000 years we've just had before.
So, okay, this is really big because I think, you know, when I have my listeners or my watchers are like, how do you even qualify to talk about this? Which, this is why I said she's one of those that you don't even see coming because your background is very deep. So your background is science.
Yes.
Right? So that's why you can speak on this. So what makes you that thought leader and someone that can really speak on it? What is your background that can, you know, help connect the dots to this for people?
Yeah, I mean, my background's in science. I've spent 20 years in the science world. I've numerous science degrees, which have been a little bit nerdy. But then I ended up finding myself in one of the most spiritual places in the world, in Bali. And so it was always really fascinating to me how science and spirituality really merged.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of what we're going to see happen, we're even seeing it now, right? We're seeing it now with the evolution of many things in medicine and wellness and health. But really that old ancient wisdom, which has been pulled through science and technology and just being made more tangible. Stuff we've always known.
Yeah.
But
we've actually suppressed it.
Of course we've suppressed it.
Right? Or we haven't. Yeah. We're aware of it.
Yeah, we're aware of it.
Right, but I think, society, government,
people,
ruling, those higher levels have suppressed it. Why do you think they've done that? Like, why? Like, why did we, this is stuff that, my family's American Indian, right? So my great-grandmother was a medicine woman. She was a Cherokee Indian chief. Like, she would, sit and she had her dream catchers and she would do her chants and she was bringing in source and healing people. I remember being a little girl, I'm like, she must be just a powerful woman. No, she was just channeling our truest nature.
Yeah.
So, like, why do you think that's been suppressed?
Because how much money do you think really is
Yeah.
when we really empower people to understand that they have all of this deep healing inside of them? Yes, we are going to have technologies that enable to wake that up. Yes, we've had for many thousands of years the ability to wake that up. Things like the pharmaceutical industries and our governments don't want us to realize how incredibly powerful we really are, what incredible powerful beings we really are. So I think it's been suppressed because people don't want access to ultimately what is free energy. Like even Nikola Tesla, if you take him for an example, a great genius that lived 100 years ago. Had we followed his philosophies, we would have free energy today. But we followed a different philosophy. We followed a philosophy in which enabled people to make a lot more money out of that kind of exploitation of energy, if you like.
Yeah, so how do you think that we're shifting now? Like, do you think that society is waking up?
Well, don't you?
I know it sounds like a rhetorical question. However, I'm from Michigan. My parents would think you're nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that think I'm nuts.
Right? So do you think people are really, like, who's waking up? And those that are not, that are watching this, what's going to help them wake up?
I see collectively that there's a global awakening that's happening. That again is a part of the age of Aquarius. Like prophecies from thousands and thousands of years have prophesied about this time that we would all start to wake up, that humanity would start to wake up. I think the thing is, as we start to tap into more things like energy and frequency, we will naturally awaken. Like something inside of us will naturally awaken. You've done sound healing, right?
Yeah, of course.
Something inside of you, whether you believe in that or not, everyone can sort of feel that something awakens inside of us. So I think that the more that we start to really bring this stuff into mainstream, the more we're going to start to awaken more people to the real power that they have within themselves.
Yeah. So you mentioned sound healing. Music. Right? Like the frequencies, because I know this conversation of frequencies sometimes could freak some people out because they're like, I don't even get it, right? So let's bring it into their reality. So you mentioned sound healing, right? So what does it do? What does a sound healer do that actually shifts? Because I've done it, right? So I'm like, I'm feeling it now because I know what happens on a cellular level. However, those that are not sure about this, how can they relate to understanding what frequencies can do and how they can start using it and being aware of it, right?
I guess the easiest way to explain it without going into any kind of quantum stuff is that frequencies is just a language.
Yeah.
So when, for example, a sound healer is activating that, they're activating essentially these language codes to your body. So your body resonates with that, they listen to that. It's almost like singing at a song, if you like. And like sound healing is a really good example because it literally is singing your song of body. And your body is literally resonating with the lyrics, if you like, of the frequencies that it's being delivered to you.
Because it truly is a healing.
Yeah.
Like what happens on a cellular level? Like what's happening?
Well, we have all of this incredible information that's inside of our information field. So it's not just inside of our bodies. We're a body with this information field. We're actually an information field first before we're a body. When you're having any kind of like sound healing or anything like that, it's recoding the stuff in this information field. This information field is what brings us into our current reality. So if you're feeling dis-ease or trauma or any of those kinds of things, it's because your information field has these things stored inside of here. It has these things stored like inside of a memory. When we do things like sound healings, it's almost like you could imagine it's pushing that information out of your field. Yeah. And so now your body doesn't have to have that information to start bringing that into your present day.
Okay, so that's, I think people can really relate to that, right? So like you're literally vibrating out the negative energies and these frequencies help do that.
Yeah.
Like, where did you come from? Like, literally when I said earlier, you're not going to even see her come in. Like, she's like that one, like, oof, I would never expect, right? Like the knowledge and the wealth of understanding that you have you always been this way? Like, where did this come from?
That's sort of a bit odd to answer. Well, I came from a farm, actually.
Yeah?
From a small town.
Really? You always tapped in. Did you always have that like connected source? So you were like one that already was aware.
I was always an odd child. I had an imaginary friend that would tell me all these things. I was always a slightly odd child.
Now you're super normal. All you're doing is just connected to source, and you're like, right, channeling and having a conversation. And so were you judged a bit when you were younger? Were you like an odd duck kind of style?
Sometimes, yeah. Because I definitely saw the world in a totally different way to how other people saw the world. And it really wasn't until I was older that I realized I just don't see things how many people are seeing things.
Yeah.
It was like I could see things that were maybe ahead of its time, if you like. Even as a child, I could see that. Yeah.
So you're forecasting, because I've been told that you really you're a forecaster also of trends. So that started when you were quite young, and you're forecasting trends. So all of this knowledge that you've like started as a young person, you started studying, has now brought you to where you are today, which is not only educating those on understanding frequencies and how they can work and how this modern technology can actually heal your body, but you're also part of the development and creation of a device that people can utilize to do that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, this device feels like it's a manifestation of the collective. You know, to bring forth something that truly does drag from it, if you like, the wisdom of the ancient worlds, the wisdom of the indigenous people, and bring it into modern day technology, and then able to give it to everyday people in everyday homes is quite remarkable. I mean, we see many things I can't even talk about, actually.
Right, it's the claims, but it's almost like you were saying, like it's like a sound healing, if you will, device that actually shakes out and finds those areas. And look, I experienced it. Yeah. You actually use this device on me, and we'll say what the name is. Of course, we're like holding everyone out. Do you feel that the creation of this device, like you found it or it found you? Because it's like, almost feel like you as this young girl going, I'm this odd duck that's understanding frequencies. I started to learn science. I'm realizing I'm seeing things, and it's all this has to do with frequencies and energy, and I can heal myself, and you're seeing all these things that are happening, and boom, now you are the top leader in a company that created a device that helps modern day people leverage and utilize this ancient wisdom, and to physically allow that to help change our cells and our DNA.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's by any accident.
I was going to say, there's no synchronicity.
There is no accident.
Like, you just gave me goosebumps, right?
Yeah. It gives me goosebumps. Like the very first day I remember holding this thing in my hand, I was like, this has been my entire life's work, has meant for me to bring this to the world.
And you have.
Yeah. And that's what it felt like. Like as soon as I touched it, I was like, this was meant for me to bring this to the world. Like everything leading up to it, every experience, every science degree, every art thing, every conference I ever went to was for me to be able to bring this to the world.
Like if you were to pull your cards, it's like my daughter Hanalei does these oracle cards, and it would say like, you're being guided by your divine panel, right? Like you've been guided, like you've been ready for this all your life.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about the name of the device and what it came from. And now you've created the largest group of people around the world that are using this device now to heal themselves.
Yeah, and look, again, I don't feel like it's anything special about me.
No,
I just truly do believe.
You're just
I'm just a bridge.
You're the
right?
bridge, yeah.
I'm just the bridge between there and here for people to understand this. I do believe that it's just really come at the most poignant time in humanity. Yeah. You know, like, let's be honest, 2020 was a crazy period of time. It's a time that we needed as well. Yeah. But
Reset.
It was absolutely. But it was a time when I think that people have become more open and more awake to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so for us, we've seen from a business perspective, this completely take off in a way that I don't think we ever really truly could have predicted. But then when I look back on it and I realize that this technology came just at that pinnacle of, as we entered the age of Aquarius, it is the tool of the age of Aquarius.
I mean, so literally everything you've talked about is coming to fruition.
Yeah, everything.
So
From spirituality to science to technology to humanity to the fact that it really is such an empowering model to really help female leaders and females in general. So to me, it is the tool of the age of Aquarius.
So what's the name of this device?
Healy.
Right? And I tell you, I am the first, and I said this to you, I'm, I call myself like a spiritual realist, right? Like I get everything, and I have to say, because we live in Bali, and there's some, Ubudi and everyone kind of floats around. I'm like, come on, let's throw some, anchors down and let's get grounded. And there's no judgment to that. I'm just really grounded. And you said this to me, and you share, I'm going to show you this device. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing, like really, this is another one of those gimmicks. And you put this thing on me, and I was like, wow, like I can feel this. Now, I haven't used it enough to say that it's done something for me. Mm-hmm. However, what I've learned from people, the healing that they've had, the way that they center and ground not only their minds, their businesses have grown because it's like you listen to, is it a listening device? Is it let's talk about what it actually is, because I think it's going to kind of like be this hokey pokey, airy fairy process. However, when people look at it and they see it and you Google it, they're gonna go, oh my God, this thing's for real.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you literally strap it onto you if you like. I mean, that sounds a bit crazy, but yeah, you do. I mean, there's a couple of ways that it transmits into in your energy field. One is through vibrations. The other one is through frequencies. You literally put on these wrist straps.
Is it like pulse points?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And then you can feel it. You can feel these. Well, you can feel the microcurrent coming through your body, in which the frequencies are delivered into you.
I mean, so if you can literally imagine having something that's set, is it set like on because we talk about frequencies, like I say, look, I'm only, communicating around people that are elevated on the same frequency, right? That are communicating the same frequency. So can you like literally dial it up and dial it down to help create change in certain ways?
It's always going to bring you back to a state of balance.
Okay.
That's what it's
That's what it's designed to do. Because you're normally in balance. You're either too much or you're too low.
Yeah, so it's always bringing you back to this state of balance. Right. And so, if there's information inside of your information field that is bringing you out of balance or triggers you or causes discomfort or dis-ease or whatever that is, it, if you like, harmonizes that. I often think of it, even though, when you're feeling it, you don't hear this, but I often think of it, it's like singing a song back to your body and singing a song back into this energy field, and anything that's out of tune, it's kind of reharmonizing it. And so you bring your body back to balance. When you do that, incredible things happen. When you truly bring yourself back into harmony, you don't feel dis-ease and trauma and emotional, like all this other stuff that really pulls people out of whack. Not only that, but you really can, like my ability now to manifest is insane. Like, because I'm so tapped in. The more balanced you are, the more sort of tapped in you are.
And so like anxiety and stress, things that people are dealing with right now, this can help really bring them back to center and balance, which I think is so big right now. So you not only are an educator and a thought leader in this area, but you're also helping women, including men, leverage this type of frequency and energy and create wealth. Like, how is that relating?
Okay, because this device is really shared through a sharing model, if you like, which is a really new paradigm within the new economy. Yeah. I think when we're helping more people, when we're bringing everyone back to balance and we're sharing that around all these communities, abundance just happens.
Yeah.
So it's such a beautiful flow-on effect of helping people. It ultimately helps humanity. As you're helping them do that, then this abundance is flowing back to you. It really is a completely new paradigm. It really is the business of the age of Aquarius, as it is the tool of that.
And it's changing people's mindset about it as well, right? Like we look at how we've been navigating business, right? Like was a corporate executive, right? And I was taught in order to be successful, I've got to charge. It's got to be hustle. It's got to be fight. It's got to be that bulldog battle. And being a female, like there's a lot of stressful energy that came from that. And as much as it served me for so long, I realized this is not going to help. This is not going to get me to where I need to be. And so the work that you're doing now is, are more women starting to come into this and like shifting from this, being, suppressed in part of the patriarchy to like, well, look, we're thriving. Like, what's really happening?
Okay, so in that world, which is the Piscean world, if you like, it's the very masculine world. Thriving. It's like the power and climb the ladder and all that sort of stuff, the hustle and the grind. That's the old world. The new world is a much more feminine energy. The new world is about creating community. The new world is about attraction. It's about receiving. Collaboration, exactly. Yeah. It's about these sorts of energies. And so as we enter into this space, you're going to find that we are going to break away from that old paradigm, that old really masculine paradigm, which is not to say like, we are anti-masculine or pro-feminine as anything. Yeah. It's just that we're coming back more into a state of balance. And so that's what we're going to see. This is, again, one of the beautiful things about this device. This full circle, right? Exactly. You create these beautiful communities. You're healing people. You're creating abundance. We are attracting these people to us. It's a totally different paradigm of business. But it's new now, but it will be the future. This is how we're going to do business. Yeah, and we're seeing more and more women not emerging as like the powerhouse, but emerging as the powerhouse. Yeah. Right? Like their house is in alignment. Yes. Right? Yes. And I know, like, I've had this shift in myself as well, where, now it's so easy to be balanced as having families and having partnerships and having businesses, because everything is more in flow. And we're not like, feeling obligated to just fight and be powerful. We're just naturally creating and naturally living within abundance. I think for a long time we were trying to emulate the power of men.
Yeah, that's it, right? That's all we knew.
They have their own power and an incredible power as well. Like, again, this is not anti-them and plus, pro-women. Yeah. It's about everyone being in the source of power that gives them the most greatness. Mm-hmm. I think when we were trying to emulate men, we were suppressing our real power. We are creators. We have the ability to attract energy. They don't in the same way. We
give life.
Exactly. We give life. Yeah. And so I think it's stepping into a totally different kind of power, really feminine kind of power. And so I see that as like the biggest shift. Again, it's not good or bad. Yeah. It's just that's how one way was done, and we're entering into a new way. Women don't have to be the powerhouses and wear the power suits and be like this intimidating kind of powerful woman, which I've been in the past. I don't know, like you have too, right? Yeah. When we've realized that really our true power is to tap into the true essence of our femininity, the true essence of what it is to be a creator, to be a receiver, then it changes, because we're operating in the frequency in which we are designed to operate. Yeah.
All right, so this brings me up to something, because I'm thinking, all right, so notoriously, girls, women, we're always a bit more advanced than men. Let's just be real. Like, girls mature sooner than boys. So now, how do you see the relationships now of like women just standing in their power? Is it like, how do you think that's going to affect our men? Like, are men needing to really get through this and become aware? I mean, I'm almost seeing like it could be a power struggle. It could be a balance opening, like, or women just don't need men anymore. I don't know. Like, what do you think's going to happen?
I think if we take it from the lens of how do we best work together to serve humanity, that's where we'll find the key. Yeah. It's not me fighting you or you fighting me. How do we build together? How do we unite together to really use our strengths? Men by sort of nature are more process-driven, more structured, more rock-like in the way that they are. Yep. Women are more sort of floaty and feminine and creative by nature. Mm-hmm. We all, by the way, possess all of those things within inside of us, whether you're a man or a woman. But really harmonizing those two things together, that's ultimately going to be the key for our success.
Yeah, that's the new age of relationship.
Yes.
And it's interesting because my husband Brian and I have been together for 23 years, and I was always like, that powerhouse, and he's just kind of like, okay, and it got along that well. However, now we are both completely connected. It's like an equal balance. You know, like he's respecting my power, I'm respecting his
Yeah.
presence as a man.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that one is greater because of their success or the way that they are making money. It's about this harmony.
It is. That's the whole point.
Right?
It's coming back into resonance to who we truly are. It's
Yeah.
coming back into
Yeah.
the harmony of who we truly
Yeah.
are. We don't need to fight. This is not a war between the sexes like we've had for so
It used
long.
to be. Burn the bras.
It did,
Here it is.
exactly.
Like, Jesus.
Of course, it's natural, right?
Yeah.
When we've had it so far out, the pendulum swing is going to go this far out as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, for sure.
We've come back to this space here. Again, when we come back to balance, we come back into harmony. That's where we're going to find true change. That's where we're going to find that we are able to walk through together, arm in arm, in flow, in grace, in all the things that make life beautiful. We're no longer fighting with each other.
Oh, I love it. So what is next for you? Like what is your mission? Like here we are, we got this, beautiful bombshell of knowledge who's on this mission to help, connect the dots between spirituality and science. And like now it's bridging into this modern technology. You're helping people grow wealth. I'm like, what more can this woman do? Right? Like what is next for you? Like what are you up to?
What is that? Oh wow, so many things that I'm up to.
Right?
Where do I
Let's
start?
talk about the show.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about the Witches of Wall Street.
Exactly. That's another thing. Again, I just truly believe I'm a bridge. I truly believe I'm a bridge. That show for me is how we bridge spirituality and money.
Yeah.
How we show women that are creating great success, monetary success, but still are very conscious and live in that sort of paradigm of spirituality, and we're merging them. That to me is again, I mean, I keep coming back to it, but it's the age of Aquarius for bridges. Like
I love
bringing
it.
these contrasts
So what is the name of the show
together.
then? So it's
Witches
not
Witches of Wall Street.
Witches of Wall Street.
Yeah.
And what's it going to be? It's going to be a reality show?
Yeah, a reality
Okay.
show. Ultimately, it's a collective of these incredible powerhouse women who are all geniuses in their own right. They do everything from alchemizing wealth and wellness and women's intuition and all this sort of stuff. Stuff that probably many years ago we'd be burned at the stake
It's the
for.
witchy stuff, right?
Yeah. But we make amazing money doing this.
Yeah.
So that's what ultimately it's
Wow,
about. And
that's
it's to continue to inspire women as well, especially women, everyone,
Yeah.
but especially women, to step into their power and to really step into their inner power and really create abundance from that space.
Oh, I love that. And is there, do we know where it's going to be shown yet? Is it kind of still a secret? So they have to still keep following you to make sure they find it?
Yeah, well, they can follow us to make sure they find it, but I think we're going to have it on this magical island here.
Yeah,
So,
that's going to be
yeah.
really fun.
Yeah.
Wow, we're keeping some things secret. All right, so where can people find you? Because I know they're like, wow, I need to keep hearing from this woman. Like, where do you spend most of your time? Is it social media? Is it certain platforms?
Yeah, social media.
Yeah.
I guess my Facebook and my Instagram, just Taryn Lee. It's relatively easy to find.
Yeah. All right, so Instagram and Facebook. Have you tapped into any new platforms as of yet?
Clubhouse,
Okay,
which
so you're
I
on
found to be
Clubhouse.
quite fun. I've
Yep.
spoken with you on there for one
We're going to
moment.
start doing some more.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's a really fun space to be working in right now. I mean, it's really easy to find like-minded people inside of that space that really appreciate, especially, like for myself, I operate in a slightly niche-ish area, and so it's cool to be able to find all these like amazing women and people that love quantum physics and nerd out on that, but people that love making money and marketing people and attraction, like all those people that you're sort of.
It's like people are starting to like find each other.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had this vision. I did this week away by myself in nature, and I had this meditation, this vision, and I was walking through, and it was like this like big, I guess walkway, and I was kind of in this dark rocky area, but through it was like this beautiful crystal, and I'm walking through and these people are looking at me, and I literally cracked off my skin and it was light.
Oh wow.
And all these people started walking around me going, I realized like there's been people walking among us. We've all been around these light workers, the ones that get this stuff, the ones that have been creating this natural abundance. It's not like, it's like literally naturally coming. I was like, okay, I'm among my people. Let's walk through this entrance into this crystal land. And I believe that's what keeps happening, right? And it's happening so naturally. And that's why these units of these people keep like finding each other.
It's the stuff that gives me goosebumps to be able to like, You know, we have massive change happening in humanity on our planet right now. And us having these kinds of conversations is what helps to really ignite that kind of change. And so I know you're a fellow light worker.
Cracking the skin, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy to have you here. Is there anything more that you want the audience that they should know? Like either leave them with a message or something that they should really start focusing on right now. What should they do if this is such new conversation? Is there a book? Is there
a book? I mean,
is there wisdom? Right? Give someone that's watching from the outside, because our fellow light workers are going, that makes sense, of course, right? However, 90% of the population is like, oh, I kind of get that. I actually have felt that. However, they don't know how to take it to the next level because they're just not maybe awakened yet. We all have it.
Yeah, I mean, there's several things that they could be doing. One is to start to really understand, I guess, the different connections we have between science and spirituality, and then get the device. I mean, that's one of the fastest routes I've found for people to be able to really understand energy because they feel it, they embody it.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's interesting. I recently did read a book called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. And it was pretty intense. In fact, I read that book while I was away. And it was about understanding and finding your connection to source and literally embodying, feeling those moments when intuition and your body, or you walk into, let's say, like a tense space. And like bring practical ways that you can recognize it. Like, like when you walk into space and maybe someone's having an argument. Yeah. You walk in the room and you're like, whoa.
Yeah,
energy's a bit thick.
That's just two energy fields meeting each other, right? That's just that space which has its own energy field and those people inside of it. And then you with your energy field, before you even get there, there would have been some little indications of something happening inside there. You get in there and all of a sudden these two energy fields are like, something's not up, something's going on here.
Yeah, well, this is like a great example. I have a daughter, and so many people think, oh, our problems, we hide it from our kids. I'm like, you're really serious? Do you really think your kids don't know that you're pissed off each other? Because we smile at them like,
no way.
Yeah, but that's why everything is just so skin deep, right? Like,
energy doesn't lie.
That is the thing.
Energy doesn't lie.
Yeah.
That's why you can feel it when you walk into a room. That's why there are certain people that you feel more energetically connected to. Exactly.
Yeah.
Energy doesn't lie.
Yeah. All right. That's a big one to leave with. Energy doesn't lie. Taryn, thank you so much for being here. You are you're a true dream that's come onto this planet, and you are the messenger. You are the messenger that's bringing so many people together. You're educating them in ways that they can not only heal themselves, but they can truly create the abundance in their life. This is not, blah, blah, blah talk. This is real stuff. This is spirituality and science, and boom, right into modern technology. And now it's equating into wealth. It's equating to connections and life. And to you, my lady, I want to thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for having me on
I know,
here.
I love
beautiful.
it.
I love these conversations.
I do too. Well, we need to have more of that. But can you imagine? Think about it. Have you ever walked into a room and you're like, whoa, I can feel that energy? That's the frequencies that's happening. Start tapping into that, knowing that you are that energy. You might be pissed off today and somebody walks in the room and you're wondering why they didn't vibe with you. It's because you're giving off what you bring in. So start being aware of the vibrations that you give off, because you'll begin to attract more of the same. That's what I'm going to leave you with, because energy doesn't lie, just like Taryn said. So I hope today's show really brought you into a bit more awareness, because we're going to keep bringing this conversation to light, because that's what we are. We are light, and we all deserve to have it. So I always leave this with all of you. Remember, if you're going to create a brand, create a sexy brand. And if you're going to be anything, be unstoppable. We'll see you on the next show.